And talk to me about the career opportunities or the different fields that you can get into once you've learned web development, be it front end or back end or full stack, the way you are doing. But like, what are the different ways a person can start earning money? To be very frank, as a web developer.
So to be very frank, the first way is like the job part of it. Like you can go ahead and apply to internships. You guys can go ahead and apply to maybe part-time jobs. And if you're like passed out, if you are a passed out student or something, you guys can go ahead and apply to full-time. But the major thing here is you have to select a particular niche. You have to double down on the niche. Just by sticking to your web development kar lunga bolke, you can't like go ahead and apply. You have to particularly focus on like a skill. For example, React, Node.js, or maybe Python, Django. The best thing would be you go with the trend, like React.js is the trend nowadays, or maybe Python, Django is the trend nowadays. But a lot of people still need PHP developers. But there's a very vast difference between a PHP developer and a React.js developer. While a PHP developer might be getting a 3 LPA package, React developer can easily get a 7 LPA package that I've seen. Although I have seen in India, basically, a lot of companies are like exploiting this thing. Like even the React developers are getting like 3 LPA. But what I would suggest is if you are, getting a 7 LPA package, that would be a much better this thing. Because where I work, the starting is 7 LPA. All right. Yeah, even for a part time, for a part time 7 LPA, because the React is pretty new. React is pretty new. All right. Market, and it's like growing every day. You have to keep on learning that tech stack. So you won't get a lot of people who are using React, as the primary code base. A lot of people are still using WordPress and stuff. A lot of good companies are still using WordPress as their primary development. They are like focusing on shifting to React. So if you guys go ahead and apply to those companies, you might have a much better chance than even 7 LPA. If you are like applying to companies in the US, that would be a much better. You might even get a $20,000 job, which might be less for the industry standards in US, but as for India, it is like much better.
Great. And also, what do you have to say about like the freelancing things, or have opening a business out of web development the way you have done, and you've succeeded beautifully in that. So can you just talk about that as well? मतलब मेरे को job का समझ में आ गया, but how to like what is the earning potential when it comes to freelancing in web development?
So web development is like a vast thing, like I said, for jobs as well. Yeah. But the major thing I would say is when you are like coding things, a lot of people tend to fail in that. Like they start within few months they give up because you don't get a lot of clients based on your skills on coding, because the clients and a freelancer who is coding talk different languages. Like they are talking client and you are talking freelancer, or maybe you are talking a developer, right? That doesn't make any sense to that particular client, because in the end he wants a business to be set up, and what you are talking is like how you are going to make that website or the web application. So that won't work in the case of a web developer who's coding the website. But what you can do instead is that you guys can go ahead and approach agencies instead of businesses. Like individual businesses.
Sorry, but can you just specify that for the ones who don't know what agency actually is? So can you just maybe specify कि business and agency में क्या difference होता है?
Yeah, so businesses are basically who are like listing themselves, and they're looking for a freelancer rather than agencies who are like providing those services. So agencies are people who are like providing web development services, or maybe some other services like social media marketing or any services. So businesses are those who want those services, and agencies are like those who are providing the services to businesses. So instead of targeting businesses directly, what you guys can do is approach agencies. And what agencies have is that they have a lot of clients first, and then all you have to do is get that one agency to give you a client, maybe a client,
So
or maybe like
so basically tie up with an agency in the long term process, and you can go pretty well that way.
yeah.
Because you
And
have a
even
certain
when you
piece
are
of time.
approaching, yeah, and even when you are approaching an agency, there are certain risks. So there are a lot of agencies, those are like exploiting freelancers, and to avoid those things, what you guys can do is either you fix up a charge hourly, or you can
Right.
put in a retainer for the that particular agency,
Got
right?
it.
Because as I said, the best thing about agencies is that we both deal with technical aspects of the thing, right? We talk the same language. And the second thing is, as a freelancer, it is the benefit of getting that one client, but leverage of getting multiple clients at the same time.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the biggest advantage that I understood while working with agencies or businesses is that agencies are more technically sound and your language is aligned, right?
Yes, actually.
Great. Great.